Greg Fritz from Select. How you guys doing today? Hey, we're going to show you some equipment methods to use the Select bench. A lot of you don't realize we have drive-on benches, and right behind me have a Griffin drive-on bench that we're going to be using today. Set up this 2019 Chevrolet Trailblazer, and we're just going to put it on pinch weld clamps in this first video and use the nausea electronic measuring system to do a diagnostics report. Okay. Now I'm going to start again. So in this video, we're going to be using, as far as equipment goes, we're going to be using the Griffin drive-on bench, and we're going to be using the Select C-stand to lift the car by the wheels. And if we decide that we want to do some repairs, if we find damage on the car, then we would be able to set up some jigs or some holding adapters if we like. In the second video, we're going to show you how we can customize the chameleon parts without database to hold the vehicle if we need to make some slight pulls. Okay, so this is going to show you how to do repairs on lighter repair work, light hits, not a lot of damage, but if you want to replace it in rail or make a small pull on the front or the rear, you can do that, and we're going to show you how to do that in a series of videos. Let's get started. Okay, now we can stop that. Oh. Thank you for what I'm doing, Mike. Good. Come forward just on this floor. Okay, good. Okay, go up. Go on. Okay, so right now we're getting ready to put the car on the 4 pinch weld clamps here. Get it stabilized, all right? A little bit more, Sean. Okay. To the front. Let me check. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going, Sean. Okay. I'll tell you when, all right? Okay. Okay. going. Oh. Okay. Enough. Okay. Comes in. Step back. Good. Okay. Good. Yes, sir. Okay, so for you time sensitive folks, cars on the bench, on the pinch hole clamps, ready to adapt the puller to it and or adapt the measuring system. That didn't take long at all, did it? So anybody that thinks we can't do something quick, got it wrong.
We do a comparison against other loading techniques from competitors. Ours is done with all four wheels simultaneously in the sense that we've got those rolling stands. We can reposition the vehicle as needed, comparative to a front-back or a side-side loading procedure, which is twice as long.
That's right. We only have to lower the car one time, pick the car up one time. The competition has to pick up one end of the car, put it on the pinch hole clamps, lower the car, take it off the stands, move the stands to the back, reload the car on the back and lift it up, put the clamps on, then take it down and take the stands off. That's double duty. It takes twice as long or more. Okay, right. Pause. Pause. No, just so you know, that was not recording sound.
Just this way.
We've got the car on the bench, video part 2. All right, we're going to measure this car with a Naja 3D electronic measuring system. But before we do that, we have to install some support bars here. And
The height extenders.
In regards to that, we're going to use these spacers to extend the height of these support bars so we can use cross members, should we choose to, underneath the measuring system, so we can use pulling parts in conjunction with the Naja 3D measuring system. So let's do it.
They're right on the back.
cross member up here? Thank you. Okay, so the reason we're using that cross member in the front there is to support the nausea bar, the nose of the nausea rail, since we elevated the nausea. It believes that there's going to be cross members on the bench all the way through. So we put one up there just to support the tip. Okay? Now we're getting ready to load the measuring head itself. I don't know if you can remove it a little closer. Just so you can see that. Probably can't. But that's okay. I don't know what you can see. More on that side. Okay, so So, now that we've got the car on the bench, we've got the measuring system on it, we can go ahead and get it acclimated to the car. Gather in there. Okay? Alrighty then. So now we have to turn on our nozzle, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you want to come over here and turn on the nozzle. This is my support crew. So you can see it does take two people to load that rail. But you know, you can always ask your buddy across the shop to come over for 2 minutes. There's gonna be a time when you're gonna need to help him hold the door up or something, you know. So it's reciprocal, right? It's called teamwork.
Okay.
Okay. So now that Bluetooth is connected, Sean's gonna pull up the car database. You know, 1%.
This is the symmetric.
Oh, this is in the car.
Yeah.
This isn't the front.
This is the one that we have.
Oh, let's do symmetry.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is just, if we had the label, right? You can label it with a bar, right? But in this case, we're just going to make it by symmetry.
Okay, ready to go.
Okay, so in this case, folks, we're not going to use any database. We're just going to measure by symmetry on this. We suspect there may be a little problem in the right front corner because this car was used and bought from a dealership, and I think it's been an accident prior. Not quite sure. Okay. You can see on the screen.
As far as it'll go right.
No, it turns.
Better. Okay. I'll get it. I'll prepare it.
Okay, John?
Yeah, so our 4 points of symmetry are done, and we're ready to measure some damage.
Oh, so we've got 4 points measured already, folks? All right, so let's see what we can do about measuring some more damage here on this car. But let me show you something on the screen, what we can do real quick. So if I want to just draw some lines here to see if I got a square, I just go to dimensions, and I click on a point, and I draw a line. Now this line is going to tell me how far those distances are in comparison to each other. So I've got 1812 on one side and 1810 on the other. Okay? So that's pretty tight, I'd say. Go ahead, Sean, if you want to add some more points.
Okay, we're going to do single point, and we'll let it do multi-point.
Single point, please. Okay, so now we're going to be measuring by comparison, measuring in symmetry. You've got a line up there already. Let me take care of it. All righty, we've got the first point. How do you do the comparison?
Okay, so this is where you want to do it.
Stay there. So you can see we're doing the measurement of the screen. We have our target up there to go for. The length, width, and height is all within spec. Got it? And this is what you do, folks. Just measure the car by symmetry, find some pilot holes, find some cradle mounting points, and continue to measure the car until you get enough data to see if you have any damage that you need to be concerned about. And if you get into the point where you find damage, then you can put it into repair mode and repair it. Okay? We want to continue to measure some points, or what would you like to say?
I think we're gonna, at this point on this this particular measurement, what we thought was a damaged right front corner appears to be within spec. We can go back into our lines and double check our distances just to see.
Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in.
Get a little technical help here because I seem to struggle a little bit with getting that particular line to connect. Thank you. See how Greg has manipulated the screen to make it a little easier to find the center point of that?
Come on, baby.
Zoom in, zoom out. Great. Okay.
See this shadow right here? That's the center line of the car.
So now if I save this report and I want to look at the lines a little closer, hit report save, bring up the print icon. So I've just saved this report because I wanted to look at the distances a little closer, do the cross distance to see the spec. And again, if you were measuring damage and found damage, you want to find how many millimeters out relative to the center line, you could hit your report, and then as you scroll down, it would show you the points that you use for your reference and then your secondary points. It would also show you your damage point, which in this particular case is within spec. And then as you scroll further, you can see the variances within the setup. You can also see if there was damage at this point where you would see red lines. So, okay. I think that's good for now. Okay, so in this segment, we're going to use the nausea measuring in symmetry mode. We suspect there's some previous damage from repair. And right now I'm going to start the system. So go to the nausea 3D icon, double click it, yes. Go to our maintenance or gear menu here. Open up the little tool chest and hit the magnifying glass. What I'm looking to see is in a moment, it's going to give me a communication port. When I see the green communication port, I click it once, and what should register on the screen, which we see quite easily, is that a light blue, the Bluetooth is talking, but it hasn't fully connected. So I'm just going to walk down, move the nausea system forward and aft on the rail, so we get a bright blue. Okay, we got a bright blue. So when I close this menu, I go over to the measuring icon, and on the right-hand side here, it shows this center line with a left-right arrow. We click that. This is our symmetry mode. So now I got to choose whether I want to do 2-point or 4-point. We always do 4-point symmetry because it gives us the best box, which will give us the best datum plane when we get our 4 points of reference. So now I can go with the measuring system and establish my 4 points. Okay, here's a little registered the point. Got my secondary point. So I am going left, right, and then I move to the front, and I go left, right. I'm starting with the left side as my reference, my secondary side being the right side to get my reference, and set of 4 points. So now I should have 4 points registered on the the screen. Oh, I have
3.
3 points. So what did I do? Error.
Front right.
That's correct.
That's right, because I didn't measure that yet. Got ahead of myself.
Okay, so now he's got 4 points on the screen.
Okay, other than my small error there of not measuring 4, jumping ahead.
So now I can measure any point he wants by comparison.
Yeah. So now the system is set, automatically highlights to the green, left, right. So now I'm going to measure the left side because I suspect that the right side is the one more damaged, so I want to create a reference point on the good side. Okay, so I've measured the left side. It automatically creates the right side reference it wants me to go to. And now I get onto the point. And I've registered a reference, registered a measurement there, and it shows it in red.
We have a difference of length, width, and height of 6 millimeters in length, 17 in width, and 7 millimeters in height.
So there's definitely a sway that wasn't corrected. We can double check how far out of center line it is by going to this line here called distances. And then I take, and I can go front, back. I like to go cross. Sometimes this one gives me a little trouble, so okay. Scroll back.
There we go.
So I've now still got another line, so I'll just draw that, and I can use that as a comparison of my original box. Of course, I'm still struggling with that.
Global screen.
Yeah, this is my. I'm going to ask for a little technical insight.
Sometimes we have to adjust the screen in order to get it, so you right click on this.
Ah.
There you go. You got a better shot at it from that angle, okay? It's just a matter of manipulating the 3D screen. So right click will give you the ability to do this. Left click, of course, takes a picture or whatever, and you can scroll in and scroll out with the wheel. And if you want to take a picture of this to save it to your report, you can do a snapshot right here. It's called Catch This Screen View. Okay? So I will let Sean continue on.
Okay, so I'm going to save the report. On the right-hand side here, before I save the report, it shows all the distances I measured, and then there's a difference in the dimension. I hit Save Report, it automatically saves it. I hit OK, and I can actually scroll down. So for a diagnostic estimate representation, it's very easy for an insurance adjuster to see this when you're selling the system. You've got green is good, red is bad, very simple. You've got the actual, as I kick the camera, and then you've got the actual dimensions when you measure the 2 points to see that we've got a length issue, we've got a width, and we've got a height.
Okay? So what now? So Sean, we found a little damage here. We know we can hook up a puller and make a correction. How do we measure that again? We have to do another measuring, right?
Yes, so in this particular case, it'd be a diagnostic report. We've now sold the insurance company on. They've approved the repair. Now we can go ahead to repair it. So we go into repair mode, where we will be able to use the system live and indicate as we're pulling the correct position for that lower portion of the rail that's out.
Okay.
In conjunction with that, because we're pulling sway and because of the new high strength steels, well, I shouldn't say new, but newer higher strength steels that resist pulling, they got quite a bit of spring back, we're going to take this time now and add some extra hold down points using our chameleon system. In this particular instance, we're going to use a chameleon system in a freehand mode where we're going to select some points and build some fixtures and tie the car down. For this type of pull, because we think it's a fair bit of sway to move, we're going to use 2 in the rear and 1 in the front to isolate.
Okay, so what you're saying, if I heard you correctly, Sean, you want to use the chameleon jigs without any database, without turning on the chameleon software. You just want to use it to build some holding parts, so when you make a pull on the sway, the car can't scooch around in the back. And you've got another one you're going to put in the front just to keep the car from going down if you happen to make any kind of pressure on the downward pull. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's exactly
All right.
what I
Sounds
want.
like, and you're going to do it pretty quick because you're not going to be following a database. You don't have to set length, width, and height on anything because the nausea is going to be our reference.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you're going to set 2 jig points in the rear of the car, what we need to do is check them with the nausea prior to make sure that they're good points. If they haven't moved, then we can just build a jig to keep it there. Correct?
Yes.
All right.
All right. So we'll do a quick check on the back.
Okay.
2 points.
Let's do that. And that way, when we go to build some holding adapters, we're going to call them jigs because that's what they are. They're chameleon parts built out of the chameleon universal fixture kit, right? But if the car is in the correct location, the points are in the correct location electronically, it's going to be the same database that you would use on the chameleon, but we're not going to use the software. We're just going to measure the points with the nausea. If it lines up, then we'll build jigs to hold it there. Okay?
So one thing I have to do is, because I left this in distances, the nausea sees where it is but isn't registering what I want to do. So I want to switch it back over, and I've just highlighted the single point, so I'm just going to compare 2 points.
Yeah, so that's where.
Now on the screen, that's going to go up front to the screen and going to track it and tell me what the working rate.
Let's see what we got. Beautiful. So those 2 points are good, folks. That means we can go ahead and build a holding adapter for them. Okay? Does that make sense to you? The points are in good, they're positioned fine. So instead of going through the software for chameleon, right? And all the big men says that you have to put the car exactly here. So what we're doing here is we're going to put a couple cross members up here. And we've already located the points by the nodule, right? So Sean's going to install a cross member in the back, and we believe we can hit the stop freehand by putting this cross member on location number 37. In the front, we've got the cross member located on position number 10. This is just because we're visually looking at it. From here to here, that's the point it's running in. Here to here. I just want to hold it with a diagnostic or a holding adapter, right? Whether it's bolted in or unbolted.
You want me to help on the other side?
You go in position 5 or position 6?
5.
Okay.
Position 5 to stay alive.
Sorry?
Position 5 to stay alive. I'll make a mistake, but do not mistake.
So, what parts are going to be using there, Sean?
Okay, so I've grabbed our sliding block, which has the micro adjust on the XY. I'm in the macro position 5. I've grabbed the 260 tower, and I'm going to be using 2 of our adjustable P-cams.
Okay. You use the P-cams, huh? Oh, cool. Sean,
Okay, giving me a couple of
You want to put the top on?
I'm just checking, doing one quick check.
Okay. So what we got here? We have an adjustable P-cam that's got a scale on it. We're not using the scale. We're setting everything up by freehand. Okay. So we just grabbed a universal 260 tower, thinking that well we can fill in most of the space with that, and then we'll put the 2 pieces on the top.
Go with a UP001.
You used a 2 and a 3, didn't you, last time?
Yeah, we used it. It's got to go diagonally in.
Yeah. So you should have put on.
Yeah. So they want to go back and redo it.
no, you're one foot. Too excited. No, you have it.
Yeah, I did have it right. That's what I was.
Hold down anything. Hold down.
Okay, so you using a 260 P-cam.
So far I've got a UP003, however we'll have to swap that to the other angle on the other side. The P-cam. I think you pause it.
You got it?
Okay, so we got an MZ260 tower, we got our P-cam, and I've decided to use a UP003 plate because it gives me the angle that I want. And then within the kit, there is a silver Allen head that is designed to drop down below and firmly affix the UP003 to the top of the P-cam. So then I picked an 8065 collar.
Spacer?
Yes, sir. That's
Must
correct
be a
terminology.
spacer.
and then one of our UF 17.5, UM 25.5, or 25 millimeter, which is the UM is the male, the outside 17.5 is the internal. I checked it, it's snugly into the pilot hole. So I'm just going to thread it on, bottom it out, place it in close proximity. Install two of our hold down bolts for the to the sliding block. And then start rotating it up.
Oh, so you're adjusting that peak cam. It's adjustable in height, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, cool. So you've got two height adjustments on this universal part. One at the top and one in the peak cam. And the top one gives you 15 millimeters. The peak cam gives you, I think it's 60.
So what I've done is I've just taken the top adjuster and I've just threaded it up a few millimeters so it's into the actual hole. I don't really concern myself with what the rating or schedule is on it. And this one, there's actually an adjustable wrench that I really should be using. Makes it a lot easier to do that. But I've got it past the little bit of the initial bite.
So you got a jig built?
Just gotta double check, make sure everything's tight. Okay.
Okay.
Put that on the correct way, the rat.
All right, so now he's got a jig isolating that left rear corner of the car. So if he pulls left sway out of it, the car is naturally going to want to swing to the right, and this is going to stop it. Okay, so if you put both of them in, you can double your fun and double your holding power. Okay, so then if you want to go to the front of the car where the damage would be, you could, if anything that's in place, if you wanted to, you could freehand build a couple more jigs just to hold it in place while you make a pull. Otherwise, you're going to count on just the pitch weld clamps. So the call's up to you. It's whatever you feel you need to accomplish the mission. You start small, and if you find you need more, you work your way up and build a few more pieces. Okay?
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
this make sense?
Because we're finding with more and more of the certifications and of course the use of higher MPa steel, all those silk clamps are still fully available and expected or allowed for usage for corrective repairs. When you start getting into rail sway and other where you're actually putting a pulling tower on and you start pulling tonnage, the silk clamps are under a lot of stress. So adding an extra holding point will allow you to isolate and make that corrective pull much easier. If you do not have, with 4 silk clamps, you take up the slack, the car shifts a little bit till it reaches the edge of the tension point, and then starts to move.
That way, that's right, Sean. Now, folks, just want you to remember this video is intended for the Canadian market. If you'd like to apply this technology here in the United States marketplace, that would be awesome. You know, you can. This is for the light to medium hits. You'll have the Canadian kit available to you in about a half size, what we would call basic in the future. Um, so you can purchase the whole setup, or you can just purchase a half package called basic, and have enough and a regular cross member kit and the MZ towers. You'll have enough to do this kind of work without having to go to the full blown setup. But if you need the full blown setup, you'll still have it in the box. So whatever you want to do.